Welcome back to SaberCraft Online. I'll be your instructor. My name is Alfred. Today we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover what are called complete acrosses. Complete across is pretty much when you take your saber and you move it completely across a particular plane. So you have your three planes. You have the head area, you have the midsection area, and you pretty much have between the knees and the feet. So you're low, so you're high, you're mid, and you're low. When you are doing a complete across, you are committing to bringing the saber across your body, so there is a pivot that is happening. Utilizing the temporal notation system and the idea of the clock, what we do is we address particular points, which are our target points, and then we completely cut across the plane, and that's how we notate it. So here's a couple of examples. Facing the same direction as you are, I would envision a clock. And if I'm going to strike the head area of my opponent, I would take my saber, I would point it around the two, and I would do completely across. So a two complete across for the attacker from my right to my left. Two complete across. Two complete across. The opposite direction would be a 10 complete across. I envision the clock, find my 10 or the general area, and I am going to cut across. So again, 2 complete across, 10 complete across. Quick note, when doing complete acrosses, you're not necessarily aiming for your opponent. Rather, you're aiming higher up. So if you were to look at it closely, the blow would be going over your opponent's head. Important to note again, Cole is not going to dodge. He's going to stay right there. But a 2 complete across above his head, a 10 complete across above his head. When covering the midsection, envision that clock and find your 3 and your 9. 3 complete across, 9 complete across. 3 complete across, 9 complete across. Your opponent would see a 3 complete across, a 9 complete across. When covering the feet, you are aiming pretty much for the feet generally. This is where you see choreographers, they'll go ahead and they'll have a scene where it looks like they're going for their opponent's feet and their opponent will jump over it, right? The same idea applies. You find that clock. But instead of aiming for around a 4, you're going to aim for around a 5. The reason why it's a 5 is because of how low you are going on your opponent. You're not trying to strike their hip and cut across their hip. We've already done that with the 3 complete across or the 9 complete across. But here, what we're aiming for is more around the shin and the feet. 5 complete across, 7 complete across. 5 complete across, 7 complete across. Usually what we also do is we'll make contact with our sabers and the floor. Reason being is that when you are watching the choreography in front of you as it's happening, it's exciting to hear the sabers clashing. But usually when you're doing a complete across, your opponent is going to be dodging it. They're not going to be striking it or defending it. Usually it's the case as the saber is moving so wildly, or so it appears that way, you don't really want your defender there to take that blow. Again, when going to the 5 and the 7, it's a tap on the floor. Even doing it one-handed, this would be a 7 complete across. It adds a certain flair to it. When looking at the 5 and the 7, it would be coming just short of their feet. You're not necessarily trying to strike the opponent. As a quick reminder, 5s and 7s, I'm aiming right in front of Cole's feet. Defending against a complete across is usually done by dodging, not by blocking. Looking at it from a defender's point of view, if there is a strike that is coming towards your head, so it's either going to be the 2 or the 10 complete across, the defense for that would be to duck. In order to duck properly, think of it like a yoga pose, right? In yoga, you have a chair pose. You're kind of taking this exact same posture. The only difference is you are widening your stance. So it seems more like a squat. You are also taking your saber and you are lifting it up as a means of defending against your head. It's also helping you keep your posture as you are coming down by keeping your chest up, your shoulders back, and your eyes on your opponent. You always want to make sure to be looking at your opponent. You don't want to duck when a blow is coming across. So again, going back to the defenses, when you are defending against anywhere for the 2 or the 10 complete across, you are going to squat, lift your saber, look at your opponent, and come back ready to go. When defending against a 3 or a 9, it's always best to take a step back. So you want to take a step back as the saber is moving across. Lastly, when you want to defend against anything that involves the 5 or the 7, usually you are going to jump and give the impression that you're jumping over the saber. But as we discussed earlier, the opponent is usually going to tap right in front of the defender's feet. So altogether, it will look dynamic. Let's cover now number 12. The 12 spot is pretty much, you are aiming pretty much for the top of your opponent. With the 12, usually the strike will come straight from above. So I would take my saber up and I would pretty much aim for the head. What is important with the 12 is that the opponent can go ahead and defend, but even when they're going to defend, they should always take a step back. As I focus the 12, I am not aiming to completely cut through, but rather to stop right above my opponent's head. So even if my opponent is not ready, I pretty much stop. It is in total control. 12s are best to be dodged. You usually want to get out of the way. Working again with Cole, as I come up for a 12, he knows that he needs to step out of the way. As I move forward, he steps out. Same, watching that again. This time, Cole will move in the opposite direction. Let's watch that again. You'll notice here, my saber comes down a little further than where his head is, only because I'm seeing him moving out of the way, which then helps the choreography look more real. Watch again. I still keep my saber up and ready for the next attack. 12 complete across is slightly different. With a 12 complete across, you are still executing the entire flow of the saber. You're going to let it go completely across. And in this case, you're going to go from the top to the very bottom. Working with Cole, he's going to go ahead and he's going to dodge the 12 complete across. Notice now how far my saber has gone. He's completely out of the way. And again, I'm only adding the complete across because I see that Cole has completely moved out of the way. and he's dodged that. So quick recap again. 2 complete across, 10 complete across, 3 complete across, 9 complete across, 5 complete across, 10 complete across, 12 complete across. Understanding this, now you can add it to your choreographies and have these broad, wide strokes that really add to your choreography. You can apply the complete across to any of the other targets as well. 1, complete across. 11, complete across. 2, complete across. 10, complete across. 3, complete across. 9, complete across. Going back to the 4 and the 8, you usually do not want to go anywhere in the hips area when you already are going for the midsection. So there's no sense to do a 4 cut across or an 8 cut across. Lastly, 5, cut across. 7, cut across. So as you can see, you can interchange between a cut across or a complete across, but to notate it, use the copyright symbol where you have a C and you have a circle around it. A very quick way to notate whenever you want to do a complete across. For more lessons like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/sabercraft.org. Also join us on sabercraft.org, and there you can watch more lessons.